Hey, this your girl, Michelle.
This is Mariah, also known as Mariah Amazing.
And Yuna, hey.
Hey, buddy.
What up, what up?
What's up?
And you are tuned into Melanin Voices. Hey, everybody. So we got a special guest today after several technical difficulties, and we are happy to have him on with us. Introduce yourself.
Hey, what's going on? My name is Ravi. How you guys doing today? Happy to be on.
Nice. So,
hey, Ravi.
Ravi is on today. We have a special topic that we're going to discuss, which we're going to get to in a minute. But Ravi and I know each other from high school. We all went to Montbello, even though they went to Montbello too, but they don't even know you.
We did.
No.
No.
You don't know nobody.
Do you know Mariah? Ravi? You seen her before, right?
She looked familiar.
Don't try to.
Oh, dang. But honestly,
don't do it like that, Michelle. Put him on the spot like that.
They are younger than us.
All right, so that's why. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, Mariah's like a year under me, and then Yuna's like a year under her, right? Or
right, yeah.
Yeah,
so I was done by the time. My senior year, I was there only for like half a semester, and then I was out of there. So that's probably why, though.
Yeah, probably. But happy to have you on because we are making things happen. So let's go ahead and get it started and catch up. So what's currently going on with y'all?
Yeah.
Anything new?
Man, it's too much. What's going on with y'all? Let's
No, you mean you got too much to say.
No,
then just
you got...
speak up for it, but don't say too much because we already wasted like a mad time. So
exactly. It's gonna be too much time, so I'll keep it short and sweet. Okay.
Go ahead.
A lot of shit has gone down, and life is happening, and I'm just really trying to adjust to it all. That's all.
Well, as long as you're like, making whatever going on with you. Even though I already seen you going in on like Twitter, so I already know like part of it. But I hope everything worked out okay with you.
No, ma'am, it did not.
You're not going to share?
Oh. It's just some technical difficulties with some companies, and also I got fired, guys. So there's that. So I'm just living life.
This is a good thing.
Fired from your new job, or I thought you were leaving?
I got fired, sis. I didn't leave. I left, but I didn't leave on a good note. Okay, so she hit the fan. Michelle, okay. So I was trying to conceal myself, Michelle, but you asked for it, sis. So. Yeah, I got fired, everybody.
Well, I'm happy. Everything happens for a reason.
Yeah.
So we'll talk about it later.
Yeah. So how about how was your weekend?
What's new? Yeah, what's
I'm trying to move into a new position in my job. That's what's new with me.
Oh, yay.
Okay, like move up or move sideways or...
Okay. Kill him.
Okay, all right.
What about you, Michelle?
So one of my tenants moved out. Like they gave us maybe 4 days. Like they didn't give us. Okay, so basically, a quickie. They were in the house when I first purchased the house. So I had tenants when we first purchased the house. Mm-hmm. So they were under the old seller's lease. So we never put them under our new lease because we wanted them out in the first place. So of course she hits us over the head right when I'm at the airport in Denver on my way back that she's leaving on the 1st. Which was only like 4 or 5 days later. So she literally just handed us her keys on Friday. And my husband and I went downstairs to, of course, see what the unit looked like because we don't know what it looked like. And she did a good job by cleaning up compared to the other units that I had to remodel. She did a good job, but other than that, she's like pretty dirty. Like it had like ants and stuff in the apartment. We got to redo the floors and paint. And like there's some plumbing like fix the plumbing. But other than that, it's just... Basically, in these next few weeks, I'm about to be remodeling a whole nother unit. And it's going to be a lot of work, but it is what it is. Yeah, so they basically didn't tell us, so of course we don't get rent for this month. But hopefully I'll have someone in by July, which we should. Just got a lot to do. And then we're going to Miami in 2 weeks, so we got a lot to do and before we go. Yeah.
Lit.
What are you going to Miami for?
Just for vacation.
Oh, nice.
Get away, I love Miami.
How do y'all go about finding tenants?
Apartments.com, Trulia, the same ways you go look for apartments.
Mm-hmm.
Same concept. I just go in as a landlord And Craigslist has been good. Even though I was like not trying to put my stuff on Craigslist, but Jeff was like, put them on Craigslist, and we had mad calls from Craigslist.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So yeah, just those people. We do all the background checks and all that crazy stuff. So that's how I do it, and put pictures up, etc.
Nice.
So that's a quick thing about me. We'll get going. So Ravi, what about you? What's new? What's going on?
I got a similar situation. So my tenant called me earlier this week, or he texted me earlier this week and asked if, like about the air conditioner or whatever. So I was hesitant to fix it because in the state of Colorado, you don't have to have air conditioning for like tenants and stuff. So I was hesitant to fix it, but he was like, it's getting really hot, and they're good tenants, so I don't want them to move out. So I had somebody go there and look at it, and they said that the furnace and the air conditioner need to be replaced. So that's kind of the same situation that I'm in, like, I guess repairing stuff, which sucks, but hey, I mean, it's a part of the process.
Yeah.
Right. It's like money just right when you thought you were up, like when we thought we were up. It was like, oh, okay, well, I have rent for one of our tenants this month. So it's crazy. But that's good. I guess we all doing something. I'm sorry, Mariah didn't have the best, but we all going through something this week.
True.
So at least you're not in it alone.
That's true.
You're not in it alone for sure.
Yeah.
Right. So let's go ahead and get started with the topic of the week, which is grinding towards financial freedom. So, and this is one of the main reasons why we have Ravi on the podcast this week, and we have a lot of questions for him, but I also just want to give him the floor right now and just kind of, tell us about you, give us a quick, what about Ravi? And then we're going to have a couple questions and then we'll get started from there.
All right. So, I guess, we can start from the bells or whatever. So I guess I went to school with all you guys in Montbello. I went to school. I didn't find school very helpful, I guess you could say. You know what I mean? I did get my degree in business management. And then I've been in dead-end job after dead-end job. So after, the whole dead-end system or whatever, I decided that, this isn't for me. And now I'm actively trying to seek new opportunities outside of the employment realm. And then I decided to write a book because I saw people going through the same things that I was going through, like financially, with student loans, credit card debt, and any type of debt, you name it. And currently, still I see people going through the same situations as well. So I decided to write a book, start a company that I'm actually rebranding called Grind School Financial Academy. And then also I'm trying to get into the real estate space. Well, I have gotten into the real estate space, but I'm trying to expand that as well. So I'm actively trying to get out of the employment realm as we speak. So that's a little bit about me, I guess.
Nice. Thank you for sharing. So who wants to get started on the run, asking Ravi all the questions?
I'll start.
Not me. So,
okay. So the first question that we all have for you, Ravi, was so tell us about your book. So you mentioned that you started the book. What about your book compelled you, not to compel you to start it, but what are the components of your book, like a quick synopsis that the viewers can listen to and say, oh, I want that book, why I should get that book?
So the book is based off of my personal experience, like my personal life, and I wanted to do it that way because I didn't want to regurgitate somebody else's information. Like I read a book and then I just spit out the same thing that they said. So it's based off of my personal life. I use all of my personal finances in the book as far as all the situations that I've gone through. So basically what the book is about is how I'm actively using the principles in the book to get out of debt and also get myself into a financial position that, I can be free, you know what I mean? And I feel like this book will help others do as, I have done and as I'm doing right now, because I have budgeting techniques in there. There's also strategies in the book that help you understand finance. You know what I mean? Like finance is not a difficult thing. And I feel like school overcomplicates it. And it shouldn't be complicated. It's basically 1 + 1, 2 + 2. So, I mean, it's really, really simple. Pay yourself first, eliminate debt, control your impulses with spending and stuff. If you don't need something, don't buy it. Just real simple, basic stuff.
That's really good. I mean, personally, I feel like a lot of people have a problem with the whole spending if you don't need it kind of aspect of things. That I've seen anyways, personal hand experience. I've been the person that does that as well. Like get something if I don't need it, just because I feel like treat yourself. But sometimes treating yourself is saving, so further down the line you can have that money for something
Right.
much bigger than just
Same.
those pair of shoes or that dress or whatever the case may
Right.
be.
Right.
Yeah, I know. I had it bad before I had bought my first house. Is I didn't know what it was to save until I was in a position where I was like, yo, I need to get this money to get this house. So I learned how to control my impulses, and now
Look at you.
I had got the house, but then I was like, I kind of went crazy once I got it because I was like, yo, I've been holding back, but I'm back to my saving
Yeah,
habits.
and I want
Yeah.
to touch on
Yes,
that a little bit,
you could
Michelle,
say.
too. Like, also, like, if you spend uncontrollably, it kind of puts you in a position where, if you're trying to obtain like a loan or something, and it doesn't have to be just for a house, just anything. Like, say for instance, your car breaks and you need a new car, and you try to go to, the dealership or whatever to buy a new car. I mean, if your debt to income is too high, you may not be able to qualify. And then if you say, nobody will co-sign for you, then I mean, you're just kind of SOL in that situation. And I agree with, treating yourself and, getting the things that you like. But I mean, there's a cap, there's a limit that you should, control yourself at. You know what I mean?
Yep, I agree. I agree completely. It's not easy.
Right.
We talk. We can talk that talk,
Agree.
but
Definitely
when
agree.
you want that meal,
Oh,
I think
no.
food is my big thing. But if you want something really bad, you want to go out to eat with your friends, you want to go have happy hour every week. I remember my friends were talking. Like they spend so much money on just like Friday to Saturday or brunch on Sunday. Like we spend so much money on just like socializing with our friends. Like we want to go eat and stuff.
Entertainment's a big thing
Bigger.
for
Big,
younger
huge
people.
thing. So I guess I have my question for you next is what have you learned along your journey? So, we talk about this, you need to do this strategy, you need to do that strategy, but what really put you in a position where you were able to discipline yourself along this process?
Um, I got a phone call from my mom, like, so I was in college. And so I got a phone call, and my mom was on my bank account or whatever. Like, it was a joint college account, so she was on my bank account, so she could see, like, my spending habits and stuff. So I got a phone call, and she's screaming at the top of her lungs, like, you spent $1,200, blah, 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 this month, and last month you spent $700. What are you doing? And I was like, how do you even know that, for one? And for two, it was kind of like, well, um, I don't know. And I looked at my bank account, and I'm just going through, like, my bank statements, and I'm like, where did it all go? Like, you know what I mean? And you see a $10 charge here, a $20 charge there, and like you said, um, entertainment, food, things like that. If you pile all that stuff up, it adds up, and it's actually a lot of money. And I did that before, and then I was just like, there's no way I can continue to keep doing this. So after countless mistakes, with cars and, like, just spending on credit cards and stuff like that, it's like, my bank account was super, super duper low, and I'm just like, I can't do this. I can't continue to go on like this because, I have aspirations of being rich one day, and, being broke is not helping me get there. So what I learned is to have delayed gratification, you know what I mean, for the things that I don't want, or don't necessarily need right then and there. Because oftentimes you'll buy something and it's like, oh, I wanted that thing, and then you kind of forget about it, down the road, and it's just like, okay, it just becomes another item in your, in your house or wherever you live.
Yeah, I agree. It always takes somebody to open our eyes to see,
Right.
like, yo, some mad bread that you're spending, or yeah,
Yeah.
I agree. It took a lot for me personally when I wanted to move out of Colorado so bad. Is that I needed to get my car out here. I needed to move out here. I needed to have rent, and then it was just a lot.
Especially in New York too, right? Like rent's not cheap.
But New York really showed. No, nobody takes your money like New York. You can't even go to. You can't go nowhere without spending money. You can't. There's tolls everywhere. Okay, like there's no way you're not spending money.
Even for the metro.
And if people ain't trying to get you like at the stop sign, like money just it's ridiculous. So that's why when we go anywhere else, I feel like I'm rich. Honestly, I'd be like, "What? That was $10? That's it? Like, that's it? Jeff and I be looking at each other like, yo, this is the bill? Oh, yeah, let's get dessert and all this stuff. Because it be like, yo, this is mad cheap. This is so cheap. We be eating for two. We be like, what? This is crazy. Easy $50 at home, $60 at home. So
that's crazy.
it's ridiculous. Yeah.
Okay.
You have a question?
So the next question kind of leads into another question that we have. So I guess you can answer this the way that's easiest for you. We want to know 5 tips that you can give everybody on how to become more financially responsible. And we also have a question: what is the first step? So if you want to kind of give it in steps, or if you have 5 tips, or however you want to give it, help us to become more financially responsible. I'm gonna speak for myself because they probably got it already.
No, for all of us. No, for all of us.
So, first of all, I'd like to say, I'm not an expert. I still make mistakes too. But my first thing is like pay yourself first, and this is a big one, and this is different than like saving. Saving money and paying yourself different, because paying yourself is money that you want to collect for an investment down the road. So it's money that you're not afraid to lose, right? So the first thing is pay yourself first. My second thing, and this is all stuff that's straight out of the book as well. But my second thing is to pay debt or eliminate debt as rapidly as possible. And there are strategies to eliminate debt. I call it the compound effect. And then the next thing would be to save money. And this is totally different, like I said, from paying yourself first. This is like your money that you would set aside to, like, what I want to say, like, for emergencies. Say, for instance, this whole air conditioner thing that I had mentioned earlier. That would be the money that I would take out of my savings account to pay for that, so I can keep on moving. The next thing would be to control your impulses. We touch on that. Basically, don't buy stuff that you don't need. You know what I mean? Like, because all of that has a compound effect in the end if you're trying to, obtain some level of freedom, I would say, because in America, we're strapped by debt. Everybody's in debt, and I feel like it makes us slaves to the system because we're constantly trying to work just so that we can pay our debt. And I don't feel like that's not to me, it's the type of life that I would want to live. You know what I mean? And the fifth thing is to invest your money. So take your money and invest it in things that are going to appreciate in value. And I don't necessarily mean like the stock market or like anything that's risky, like cryptocurrency or anything like that, because if you don't understand it, you can lose money, a lot of money. And if you do understand it, you can still lose money. But things that say, for instance, you guys in this podcast, if you guys were to invest your money into the podcast and grow it, you can actually get sponsorship deals and things like that. And I'm sure you guys are aware of that, but that would just be an example of investing your money. So I think those are like the 5 things that I could think of that can help you be more financially responsible. I like that term, by the way.
Financially responsible?
Yeah.
Yeah, we do
I like
that
a lot.
When you say pay yourself first, you mean like, so if I want to go get a pair of shoes that I've been looking at, I can go get them because you say pay myself first, or what you mean by that?
So it's kind of like, say for instance, when you get paid or whatever, and if you have a 401k, they automatically take it before you even get your paycheck, right? And I like to say this right now, I don't believe in 401ks. But it's basically the same thing. You take $100 out of your paycheck, set it aside somewhere else, and you don't even miss it. So instead of living off of, like, let's say, for instance, if you have $1,000 check, say, for instance, you take $100 out of that check and you're only living off the $900. And that $100 is for yourself. So before you pay anybody else, like any debt, any bills, anything, you're paying yourself first. You should come first. You know what I mean?
Well, that's good advice.
Damn, I see it that way. I always save first before I do that.
What about the my question is, like, you talked about you call it the compound effect, or what you call it? What'd you call it?
Right.
Okay, the compound effect. How do you have like some quick steps people can take with, because there's a lot of people who get so worried and so concerned about, they have student loans, they have other bills that they have to take care of, and they feel like, there's no way I can save money because I don't have no money to save. You know what I'm saying? So because of my debt, when you say try to get that debt off fast, what ways do you, I know I have my own advice for our listeners as well, but what is your compounding effect like? I guess quickly, if you can explain that.
So the compound effect is basically, it goes back to controlling your impulses, and another term that I like to use is basically finding the money. So instead of saying like, okay, well, say for instance you are strapped for cash or whatever every single month, you're paying your bills and you're barely making it, but you decide that, okay, I have a little bit extra money to go buy some shoes or go eat or something like that. Instead of using that money to go buy something to eat, you can use it towards a credit card. Let's say, for instance, you have $500 a month worth of credit card debt or whatever, right? And I would say an aggregate total. So you'll use like 550 towards that credit card until it's paid off, right? And then you'll use that $550 total a month, and you'll use it towards something else. So say the next thing is like $1,000 that you have to pay off. So you paid off the 550. You're already paying like whatever you're paying. Like say for instance, the payment on the $1,000 debt is $50, right? So you'll add the $50 to the 550. Now you have $600 to put towards 1,000. So now the next month you only have to pay off 400. So now after you pay off the 400, now you have $600 to pay towards your next debt, and then it just increases every single month that you pay something off. So basically, all you're doing is, say for instance, you're making a minimum payment on all of your debt, and you're choosing one of those payments, the lowest payment, and you're adding whatever you can to that payment until it's paid off. Then you add that to the next lowest payment, the next lowest payment, the next lowest payment until you start paying off all of your debt. And that's kind of what I call the compound effect.
Are you kind of saying like if you pay off a bill, the money that you were using to pay that bill, put it towards paying another bill? Is that
Correct.
what? Gotcha.
Cool. And I know I have my own little advice on that. I know we use a lot of well, you can move around. Like people always think credit cards are a bad thing when credit cards can be a good thing, especially when raising your credit. So knowing how to move around credit and get cards that have low interest rates, where you can kind of move, because there's a lot of like what they call balance transfers, where you can move your one debt into another card that has no interest, right? Because sometimes those interest fees are so big where the point where you paying off that $50, right? And your interest is $50 more on top of that, where you feel like, dang, it's an unendless cycle of like, I'm paying it off, but my interest is so high that it's not allowing me to, pay it off. So knowing that you can use those balance transfer fees and no interest for a year and saying, okay, I can take this card that I'm in debt in with this interest and move it to a different card that has no interest for like maybe a year. And it's like your balance transfer fee. And then what you do is you'll pay that off with no interest. Therefore, you can quickly pay off that debt. So if you can pay it off in a year, but you have to discipline yourself to say like, okay, I went and I had this big balance transfer and now I can pay it off with no interest for a whole year quickly. And then you go from there. So that's just a way you can move around your debt. So just in case people don't, who have that situation where their cards and their interests are so high. So just something for our listeners to consider. So that was my little piece of advice or whatever. I guess what made you get into the house buying process? So what would you say to the person who isn't motivated to basically get into buying property, or maybe want to buy property, but they say, you know what, I want to get a house, but it's just too hard, or I just can't do it, or it's impossible, especially living in Colorado now, since there's been like this hard moving situation where it's expensive. It's getting more expensive out there.
I would say like it depends on your market and where you're at. I mean, if you're in a market that, let's just take for instance, Cleveland, Ohio, I would say, you know what I mean? There might not be opportunities in Ohio. So if you buy a house like at $100,000, that house may stay at $100,000. So I mean, other than the whole benefit of, I guess, being a little bit cheaper every single month than renting, then I would say it just depends on your market. So what started in the house buying process for me was in 2008 or in 2009 when I was in school. I had told my mom, like, yo, I want to get into this market because everything had collapsed and, everything was dirt cheap.
Right.
And I had got discouraged, too, because I tried to put in an application for a condo that was $80,000 out here in Colorado. And it was like a 2-bedroom, 2-bathroom, and I got denied. And I didn't know that there were other stipulations, other people I can go to, other people I could talk to in order to make it work. And so I just quit. I was just like, whatever, you know what I'm saying? They deny me. I'm gonna just keep moving. But I worked with somebody that kept telling me, like, look, dude, you need to talk to my real estate agent. You need to talk to my real estate agent. You need to talk to my real estate agent. He was harping on me every day, every time he saw me. And I was just like, all right, I will. And one day he just came to my office and he's like, I'm gonna call him for you. So he called the real estate agent for me, and that's how the whole process started. I had set up my meeting with the real estate agent, or my real estate agent. I sat down with him and just started talking to him about my plans. And then I started to really see, this was before the whole marijuana boom and everything. And I started to see like how fast the market was really moving. And I was just like, okay, let me think about how I can get into it. Because I always knew I wanted to, because, you know, real estate is the number one wealth maker for, you know, people in America. So anyways, long story short, I had the opportunity to purchase my condo by where the light rail was about to start running. So I knew from experience at my job how to value property and stuff. And I knew that the property value was going to skyrocket once the light rail hit. So I knew that I wanted to get in there as soon as possible. Found a property. Me and Kwane purchased it. And then it took off from there. And then I used the equity out of that house to buy my next house. And then I was able to find a tenant, and now I have so much equity in that condo that I want to sell it and go buy apartments. And I have this thing that I teach as well. It's called leverage. Basically, Michelle, you're doing it. You're leveraging other people's money to help, you know, facilitate your lifestyle. And I don't know if you're using it towards, you know, your mortgage, or, you know, whatever you're using it towards, putting in your pocket, paying debt, whatever. But you're basically using other people's money to help facilitate your lifestyle. You know what I mean? Like, so that's what made me want to get into it, because it's one of the easiest things that you can do if you know what you're doing, you know?
Yeah, I agree. I know our process. Like I purchased a 4 family property in New York, which is like magically impossible for my, like, for people look at my husband and I like, how old are you guys? And we're really young, and we have this 4 family property that has a 2 bed, a 1 bed, and a 3 bedroom. So it's definitely a really a gold mine, really. But I just want to give it a quick resource to our listeners, is that we went through an organization called NACA, and I'm not sure, Ravi, if you know about NACA, because they are in Denver as well. It's NACA.com, I believe, or .org. Don't with either one. But if you guys are looking to purchase a property, they do help with the house buying process, and they will pre-approve you. They had workshops this week in New York where they're pre-approving people on the spot, where people were able to look for places the next day. So if you're really looking into purchase a property, or you're really looking into being a property owner, doing something similar to what I'm doing, look into NACA, because they're everywhere. They're in Denver as well. So you guys can go online, look at their workshops, go to one of their workshops. It's free. And then get your process going. So, and you could do it if you're single, you want to get your own house, or you don't even want to live in your house. If I was single right now and I knew what I knew now, I would literally uh, go to this workshop, purchase the house, and live at home with my parents, so I can have a rental property. And you know what I'm saying, and take all that cash and pay off my debt, do whatever I need to do, and then move from there, and then get my own house after that. So if I knew that
Right.
now, I'd be like, yo, I'm about to go to this workshop, stay at home with my parents, buy this house, and rent it out. Especially how Colorado is now,
Yeah.
y'all can really push y'all's rent up like increasingly.
Oh, they do, sis.
So just that's a quick resource, and I know we have one more,
Yeah.
one last question.
Yeah, I wanted to ask
Ryan.
the last question. I know that Michelle was just talking about resources, so it's a perfect transition into that. But Robbie, what are like some other resources outside of your great book that you have that people, our listeners, can look towards to help them with financial literacy?
I would say there's people out there. I would just kind of say seek people that, you know, are kind of doing the same thing, and it all depends on what you're interested in too, because we have so many resources nowadays, like Google. Like, say for instance, whatever you're into or whatever you're interested in or whatever, you could just type in Google and go from there. You know what I mean? And just go down the rabbit hole and find, you know, whatever it is. As far as like a resource, like a direct resource, I don't really know any off the top of my head, just because I don't really know what your listeners are like necessarily into. You know what I mean? I know what I'm into. Like I listen to people like there's this guy named Grant Cardone. He's like a multi-millionaire, but he basically buys apartment complexes. There's also this other resource. It's called biggerpockets.com. They're basically a whole real estate education type business. And what they do is they talk to people who have various stories within the real estate space. So yeah, those are good resources. And yeah, I mean, just Google whatever you're interested in, whatever you want to learn. It's all right there. YouTube, everything, you know.
I know who really got me booming or started or whatever was my dude Rich Dad Poor Dad.
Oh yeah,
I went to like one of the Rich Dad Poor Dad free workshops in Denver before I even thought about, even New York was even in the picture, and they even got me into a place where I was like, yo, this is something I'm really interested in. And then some odd reason God was good and just fell, I was like, oh yeah, this is something you should do. And then boom, 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 it just happened. So Kiyosaki, it's Kiyosaki, right? What's his name? Rich Dad Poor Dad, read that book.
Kiyosaki. That's crazy you said that. That's what started my whole journey too. Like, yeah, I started with that, and that sparked everything for me. So yeah, I agree with you. That's also a great resource too.
Cool.
Good. Thank you, Robbie.
So yeah, thank you so much. We appreciate you answering all of our questions. This is really beneficial to our listeners for sure.
Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
Of course.
No problem. So let's get into Snapchat convos. Mariah, you had any questions this week or you didn't?
Oh no, I didn't ask
Okay.
anybody questions this week. I just kind of wanted him to be able to,
do his thing.
Say what he had to say.
Cool. Well, let's get into Melanin Media real quick before we wrap it up. I only had one person for Melanin Media today, and that was Pusha T and Drake. The Drake controversy.
Lord.
So do y'all have anything to say about it, or y'all like, it doesn't matter to me, blah 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 blah?
I mean, I already knew about his son, his alleged son that he has. I already knew because there had already been claims about it, and it's not a surprise. Like, it's not a shock to me. So I don't know. And then I feel like the other side of the token is like people were saying like, well, why would he tell us? How we can be cutthroat with like people telling about their children in the media and stuff like that. I don't know.
Right.
I'm just like,
you don't know.
I don't know. What do y'all think about that? I guess everybody was like really upset. I feel like that's the main thing people were upset by was like, oh my God, Drake has a son. He never even said nothing about his son. I'm
simple
just
as that. But Pusha didn't have to put him out like that. But when you're a part of
right.
this, when you into
that's
this,
what I'm saying.
When you're a part of this game, like, hey, you already, and he was already. I think people want to get back into that 90s feel of like rap battles where Nas and Jay-Z and everybody was like going at each other's throats and neck. But Drake being a typical light-skinned nigga, no offense, Robbie.
Cutthroat.
He didn't respond.
Don't do him. Don't do him like that.
My husband is light skin, I'm just saying. But I'm just saying, he didn't even gonna respond. Like, he didn't even make this
come on now, baby girl.
Like,
he's a pop singer, Michelle. He's like staying in his lane. Like, because Drake is not a battle rapper.
But he came from my dude Meek Mills, and now he ain't got nothing to say.
Maybe he knows how to choose his battles. He knows because he knew that this wasn't the greatest battle to like go forward with, so he didn't say nothing on it. I mean,
it's because his ghostwriter has something against Meek. That's why he was so easy able to do that back to back. But whatever. Anyway, you have anything to say about Pusha T and Drizzy, or you really like it went over your head?
I didn't have the time to invest into it, so I didn't actually know nothing about it. Besides the baby.
Good for you. Good for you.
Oh yeah, besides the baby.
For you.
I mean, but that's the only thing I knew. That I heard about was the baby thing. So, some people don't want their business out there. I'm pretty sure he knew like people were gonna come for him because he had a baby with an ex-porn star. Like, that's like, you have a target on your back, bro. People are gonna talk about you. So I guess he was like, I don't want to have to deal with that. But it's out now, so I mean, just talk about it. Like, let's talk about it.
My thing is like the whole kid issue.
Let's talk about it.
You know what I mean? Like, nobody knows. I mean, he could be spending time with his kid all day, every day, like that, and he doesn't get out. You know what I mean? So like, I feel like that's an irrelevant argument.
That's true.
I feel like Drake started it though. Like, obviously Pusha T, like, said his little verse or whatever, but Drake shouldn't have said nothing about Pusha T Beyonce. That's why I got that. So,
Yeah, it just got too cutthroat.
That's true.
Anyways, it ain't none of our business. Whatever
That's
about the
true.
baby.
Right.
You got a baby. You got a baby. You do whatever.
I got a baby. Psych. I'm just playing, y'all.
Oh,
Just kidding.
Yeah.
No baby.
yeah. Okay.
Anyway, was that it for our Melanie
Say
Media
something.
this week? Yeah.
But no, I think that's the highlight.
What?
I thought that was a highlight for the week.
Oh yeah.
That was a highlight. The what you just said. Well, that Beyonce made me drop an album soon, but that's
Okay.
that's my highlight.
Anyway,
That's it. Okay, but that's
well,
it.
let me go ahead and get into
Different
Black
Melanie
Business
Media
of the
this week.
Week since it's like a part of our topic. But I'm not sure if y'all ever got into
Yes.
or heard about Tulsa
Let's do
Real
it.
Estate Fund. Rob, you heard about them?
I think I saw something on Instagram like yesterday.
Yeah, I have went more into depth,
Yeah.
of course, about who they were, and they are an economic vehicle for the urban community to collectively pull dollars to control and revitalize neighborhoods. So they're like literally buying out neighborhoods for our people. Okay. So, and they were like all about, kind of rebuilding like Black Wall Street.
Yeah.
Black Wall Street was in Tulsa, Oklahoma. Did y'all know that?
I appreciate that.
Yeah, this started there. But they raised, which is why they're Black Business of the Week this week, is that they are the first Black-owned SEC Regulation A Tier 2 real estate crowd fund, raises $6.5 million in 40 hours. So let's talk about $6.5 million in 40 hours. Do y'all not know Black people's what we could do?
That's crazy.
Damn.
What's our buying power like? What is our buying power?
Jeez.
$1
trillion buying
Man.
power.
Oh,
Yes.
yeah. A lot.
We already talked about this.
Shout out to them, and hopefully, something really gives
That
about
is
this funding. I don't know if it's Black owned, which is great, but I'm gonna look more into details about it, and hopefully it's something that we could maybe put our little dollars in a little bit, something we can invest in the future. So I'm all about that. So yeah, that was our Black Business of the Week. Robbie, you have anything to say?
No, I just this is pretty cool. I appreciate y'all for having me. You know what I mean?
Of course. We love having guests because we don't know it all. I was telling Jeff we was three nobodies.
No, sis.
Y'all ain't three nobodies.
Speak for yourself.
Okay, I'm saying like, we don't, people don't know us. Y'all didn't even know each other. Whatever, bro.
Nah, I mean, y'all are like three Black women doing something positive, and like y'all are doing a whole lot more, like 95% of the country. So I mean, like y'all are trying to start your thing, and you never know what it turns into. You feel me? Like I'm in the same boat. Like I'm trying to get my situation started too. You know what I mean? But every single day it's just about the grind, and y'all obviously understand that. You know what I mean? So. And I've been watching y'all from afar. I've been peeping game on y'all's podcast. So yeah, I respect it for sure.
We out here grinding too. That's why it's all about grinding towards financial freedom, or grinding towards what making a difference in our communities, grinding towards something. So, did you guys have any other final thoughts? We kind of been on this for a minute since we had those technical difficulties.
Yes. For me, I know that I wasn't really interested in financial literacy. Like, it wasn't something that interests me. I always felt like I was going to marry somebody who was going to take care of me. So I really didn't
that's crazy.
I'm just being honest. So I didn't really care about it. But now that I know, like, I want to live my life for me. Like, I want to be able to do the things I want to do, and I don't want to wait around for somebody to come rescue me. So I think that it's important for us to learn something every day, and try something new every day, especially when it comes to when it comes to money, when it comes to saving money, when it comes to investing. Just learn something new about what your dollar can do or what saving can do. Just think outside your box. So I believe in y'all. save y'all money, spend y'all money well. If you want to buy some property, buy some property. Just like live your best life financially.
Yes. Okay,
Yeah,
Yuna, I quote everything you said.
Okay.
yes,
So,
sis.
And on that point, I just want to say that it doesn't take a lot of money to be free.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, yo, if you make $20,000 a year and you only spend 10 of it, and you got 10 in excess, and you don't have to check in, punch out, clock in, clock out. Hey, yo, that's freedom. You know what I mean? So it's not about necessarily being rich. It's about, like I said, controlling your impulses, eliminating debt, and not punching in somewhere that you hate just to
right.
like pay for
I'm
your
trying to
debt.
stop
You know what I
punching
mean?
in, so I feel that.
So congrats to me not having to punch in anymore.
Right. Okay.
Okay. I'm over here on this whole new like mommy entrepreneur trying to like not go back to work
Yes.
type thing. So
Right.
anybody know the struggle? I
I
do.
feel you.
Yeah.
I do. Mariah, you have any other final
That's
thoughts?
it. Just to touch on what Robbie said, like you can save like even if you save $50 every check, it can really add up to something that by the end of
Seriously.
the year. Just try it. Just do it every week. Just every 2 weeks, $50. Start from there.
Right. And I know I know it's not easy, and we talk that talk, but that walk is not easy,
Oh, no.
and the road won't be easy. But I think it's good to have someone hold you accountable. So if you don't have someone in your corner who's like not trying to go to happy hour, like bestie, let's go and stay home. Okay, let's eat out and chill at the house, so we don't have to spend that $20 at the club or that
Right.
$50 at TGI Fridays or whatever the case may be. We can make signature drinks at home. You need someone in your corner who's going to say, let's save together, let's build together, and let's make sure that we are successful at the end of the day. So if you don't have that person in your corner, you got them people who spending, you need to look at yourself in the mirror and say, do you care about your future self? That's my whole slogan. That's my life slogan. Always thinking about my future self.
Right.
And if you can't think about your future self in that moment, then, hey, if that's your best life, then you live that life. I ain't got nothing to say. It is what it is.
Right.
But I'm just here for the people.
Okay.
Want to listen.
All right.
That's my
And
thing.
with that
But
being
anyway,
said,
with that being said, thank y'all for listening. And y'all already know where to find us. melaninvoices.com, iTunes, YouTube, SoundCloud. Like, there's no excuse. You can find us anywhere. We are Melanin Voices.
Yes.
Robbie, where can we find you?
Yeah, where can we find you?
Grind School everything. So Grind School _1 on Instagram, Grind School on Facebook, Grind School on YouTube, Grind School on Twitter. Grind School everywhere. Grindschool1@gmail.com. Everything Grind School. So like I said, I'm about to rebrand my company. So that makes Grind School or Grind Financial or Grind School Financial Academy. I haven't rebranded it yet, so I don't know, but yeah. Everywhere, everything Grind School, I should be the only one. So
original creator.
Okay. Okay, brother. Like,
Right, you should put the grinding at the end of this. The song that's in my head is like grinding. You know the song grinding. Was that by
Eclipse by Pusha T?
Grinding. Know what I keep in the line.
No, I'm thinking about my own song.
You know, always cutting me off. You always like,
she's just so reckless.
Grinding.
Bye.
All right, y'all. We out.
Love you guys. Bye.